morning and welcome to Miss Alvarado's Front Porch. Today we're going to read the book, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a secret. Nobody knows the real story, because no one's ever heard of my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't mind this whole big bad wolf thing. I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But, like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze, and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig. He wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone's house, so I called, little pig, are you in?" There was no answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch, and I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed, and I sneezed. I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And know what? That whole straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of the straw was the first little pig. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying right there in the straw. So I ate him up. To think of it as a big cheeseburger, and it was just laying right there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have a cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell to the stick house, and no one answered. I called, "Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, wolf! You can't come in here. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on, and I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down too, just like his brother's. When the dust clears, there was the second little pig. Now, you know food will spoil if you leave it out in the open, so I did the only thing that there was to do. I had dinner again, thinking of it as a second helping. I was getting awful full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been born with all the brains in the family. He built his house from bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again." Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old Granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. And I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed shoo again. Then the third little pig yelled, "And your old Granny can sit and spin." Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when someone talks about my Granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. Achoo! Well, the rest, they say, is history. The newspapers reporters found out about the two pigs that I'd had for dinner, and they figured a sick guy going around borrowing a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed. But maybe you can loan me a cup of sugar. There's a different version of the Three Little Pigs, different from yesterday's. Maybe you can write a story about the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. I wrote a story at the end of mine when I rewrote it. They all had a dance party together. I wonder what your story will have. Write your story, take a picture, and send it to me on Padlet. Or remind, I love you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.